there, I'm Craig Hohnberger, one of the founders of Bougie Action Coach, and today's word is career. So I wanted to speak about building a fulfilling career, something that you really are in love with. And it's really important because at the end of the day, we spend over half of our awake hours, at least Monday through Friday for most people, sometimes on the weekends depending on what kind of career or business that we're in. But we spend a lot of our time in our work, whether it's a business or an employment situation, and that time affects every other part of our life. So if we don't absolutely love what we're doing and who we're doing it with all day, if it's not fulfilling us and filling our bucket, it's going to rub off on the rest of our life. So career is our word, and at the end of the day, a career, whether you're a business owner or whether you're an employee, your career or your business, if you're a business owner, should, at the end of the day, give you what you really want out of life. So it comes down to, what do I really want? Who do I want to be around? What kind of relationships do I want to have with those people? So as a personal example, I came out of college with an engineering degree, went into large corporate America, engineering, manufacturing, that kind of a world. And I never really assessed who the heck is Craig and what does Craig want. I just knew I wanted to be successful. I needed to make money. I needed to pay for life, all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm several years into my career and I'm challenged because I don't know what's going on. I was traveling all the time. I was never at home. I was in cultures I really didn't like because we were doing things only to make Wall Street happy. So the decisions that were being made weren't necessarily aligning with my core values, things like that. And so the wake-up call for me was when my oldest daughter, my only daughter at the time, her name is Lauren, it was day 2 of a 2-week business trip that I took 2 out of 3 weeks during that prior year for an acquisition that I was involved with on the operational side. So I would fly down one day because it was out of the country. So I'd fly out of the country to go to this, spend 2 weeks there, and then fly home, do a week in the office, and then be gone for 2 weeks again. And my wife, Annette, who's also my co-founder of Bougie Action Coach, she called me on day 2 of one of those trips and said, Lauren took her first steps today. And that was the day I started to really actually reevaluate things. And I was blessed enough to be sitting next to this lady named Rose on the flight home 11 days later, and she gave me some amazing advice. I was showing her pictures. It was before smartphones and stuff like that. So I was showing her actual pictures in my wallet of my little girl and my wife, and told her that last week, Tuesday, my little girl learned how to walk, and I couldn't wait to get home to see her. And Rose just blasted me with life advice. And she was, number one, she was from Chicago. Number 2, she was probably 78 years old or so. So she just didn't give a rip. So it was very unvarnished, in your face. And bottom line, when we were landing in O'Hare, Rose summed up the entire conversation. It was about a 6.5-hour flight. And she summed up the entire conversation and said, look, Craig, there's 3 things you got to do in life if you want to get to my age and have no regrets. And that's the worst part of life, is the regrets. And she said, number 1, love other people. And you better start with your little girl and your wife. And your little girl doesn't spell it Love like we as adults do. She spells it Time. And all this BS you kids talk about these days, quality of time versus quantity of time. She's like, your little girl doesn't know the difference. That's just a BS excuse to not be there. All she knows is if you're there or not, so figure out how to get there. If you're I was in Puerto Rico. If you're sitting in Puerto Rico, you're not there, so figure out how to get there with her. She said, number 2, pursue your dreams, whatever your dreams happen to be in your career. She said, right now it looks to me like you're chasing after your company's dreams, and that's cool if your dreams line up with the company you're with. But if they don't, you better figure out what yours are and go after them, because you only get one shot at life and you don't want to blow it. And she said, number 3 ties directly to the first 2. Don't ever let fear stop you in either one. Be who you need to be, do what you need to do, say what you need to say to the people that are in your life, regardless of how they might react in the moment. And similarly, when it comes to pursuing your dreams, go after it, whatever it is for you. So that was the beginning of my soul searching in my career, and going, what do I really want out of life? What are my real goals? Who do I want to be around? what kinds of relationships do I want to have with those people? And so, as an example, I like working with leaders. I love working with people that want to change the status quo. They're change agents. They want to make the future better. They want to change the world in some way for the good, for the positive. And I love working directly with the decision makers. So for me, I went, gosh, who do I really want to be around? And what kind of relationship do I want to have with them? On one level, you can have purely transactional relationships where you're doing something on the other end of a mouse click with people. That's not me. I'm a very relational kind of a guy. So I wanted something on the other end of that extreme, which was I wanted something more deep, personal, life kind of a relationship with the people I did business with. From my perspective, you know what, life's short. You might as well be around people you love to be around. So as I got my whole model done, I went, man, if the place I work in fits all these characteristics, and I got my whole list done. It included income and it included, balance with life and things like that. But once I got my whole list of things done, that narrowed the scope of what I could actually search for and look for. And so then the second part is do a Venn diagram on yourself and go, what are my passions? That's the red circle for P. What are my passions? What do I love to do? So I looked at my work history and I went, gosh, what stuff really inspired me the absolute most? What were the key situations? And it wasn't necessarily what I was doing per se. It really was at a deeper level that I really loved working with organizations and helping them move from point A to point B. Helping a department that I was leading, whatever, helping a whole company get from here to there. That was the essence of what I loved the most. It wasn't the actual work per se. And I went, gosh, as long as it's helping me do that, that's what I really love. So what do you really love? The second one, the green circle, is what are your skills and experiences? So I was very skilled in certain things and had some experiences. How could I put those to bear in the next career step for me? And then the third one, the orange circle, is the needs. What does the marketplace need? What do companies need? And if you're looking for an employment situation, you want to be in that Venn diagram. If you're looking for your own business, same thing. You want to be in the center of that Venn diagram where all three of those intersect. So if you pick the right career, if you go after it the right way, be very selfish about your career. Like Rose told me on that airplane from Puerto Rico to Chicago years ago, you get one shot at life and you don't want to look back on it and go, gosh, I wish I would have went for it. Too many people are sitting in careers that they are not fully engaged in. In fact, Gallup surveys suggest that over 70% of people in America are disengaged or unengaged, actively unengaged at work. That means they're either just going through the motions or they're actually so disappointed or disengaged at work that the active unengagement part is they're actually trying to do things that don't help the organization that they work for. And I personally believe it's not because they're bad people per se. I think most people are just stuck in situations that they really don't enjoy. They're stuck in cultures that they're not inspired by. They're working with people that they really don't want to be around. So pick and choose wisely. Do this exercise, go through it. What do I really want out of life? Let me go after it. When we bring people into our organization, we ask them to evaluate everything on 4 different key questions. And I'd encourage you to ask these questions of yourself. Am I passionate about what that company stands for and what they do? Number 2, do I have what it takes to succeed in whatever the role is I'm looking for? Number 3, will it help me achieve whatever my life goals, dreams, ambitions, and future legacy look like? And number 4, do I fit their culture? Culture is so important. Get in the right environment, do something you believe in, do something you're passionate about, and someday you'll look back and go, man, this was a great ride. So that's my biggest advice for you when it comes to careers.